Hello everyone out there in YouTube world. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Let's talk about. And I was kind of like discussing what to talk about yesterday with Max, and I thought the breakdancing thing of my childhood era popped up as a subject. And how that came about, there was this gentleman, bless him, rest in peace, Martin Jones. He exposed the Midland breakdancing scene in particular on a global scale. And unfortunately, I missed out on some of that filming because I didn't know about it at the time, you see. Because there was one of the well-known crews from Wolverhampton, who were probably one of the best in the UK at the time, was the B-Boys. And Martin and some crews from Birmingham. And one of my long-time friends, Norman, who I still keep in touch with to this very day, he was part of the one of the Birmingham crew breakers, but he was into these body popping and robotic stuff. That's what he was heavily into. But yeah, so yeah, let's talk about breaking in my younger years of life. So yeah, gosh, so when that started, well, in my, say, early teens, say 13, 14, I was a fan of robotic dancing, and I used to see that on, you remember the Top of the Pops, for those of you in the UK? Yeah, Top of the Pops back then, and they used to have these funky groups on there, and some of the people, you know, the dancers to the music on the Top of the Pop program that used to come on. They used to do robotic dancing, and I was fascinated with it. And even robots, the movements of seeing robots, you know, like Robbie the Robot in Lost in Space, the original one. You know, I was fascinated with the movement of the robot. So I started to teach myself it from the age of 13 to 14, roughly, years of age. And the youth clubs as well, I used to practice it there. I used to go to Pendeford High School Youth Club on a Tuesday night. Just to practice all that and listen to some of the old music in relation to robotic dancing. And that's when my love for it started. And I remember I was about 15, and every year coming towards the end of the school season, you know, school season, as you break up for the 6 weeks holidays, we used to have like kind of a festival at school, and some of us would do certain kind of entertainment things, you know, for just to have fun and things like that, you know. So I was in a group with some other, you know, dancers, girls, and they were called the Hot Flossers. Oh man. And I was the only male in there, and we did a dance routine to a well-known song back then. And it was, I think it was called Gotta Move On. I'm not too sure, but it was round about a song in relation to disco dancing era of the 70s, and there was robotic singing in there, and it kind of worked well. So yeah, I was doing my robotic dancing, and I was wearing dungarees and a big t-shirt, Coca-Cola t-shirt, you know, and it went really, you know, it was brilliant. I've just become passionate about it. And even some of my schoolmates, they said, oh, they even didn't know I could dance. So yeah, and that's when it started. And then I was just always used to practice the robotic dancing and things like that. And then a couple of years later, I was probably about the age of 15, 50, yeah, about 15, 16. Started to see some of these breaking stuff on TV. I was thinking, wow, this looks crazy. And then I was friends with Derek Barton, rest in peace, bless you, and Michael Allen. And yeah, we used to go up to Michael Allen's because Michael Allen was a couple of years older than me, and he had a flat as well. So yeah, he's watching these videos, and we just think, wow. So we started to practice some of these moves, you know, because we saw this crew called the Rocksteady Crew, and they was in the film called Flashdance. And for those of you who've seen Flashdance, if you remember the scene, the main characters, these two women from the university where they were learning about the art of dance. They walked down this alleyway, and you could see some break dancers on the lino, and there was the well-known famous Rocksteady Crew on the same age as Crazy Legs, and yeah, they were breaking and doing the moves. And me, Michael and Derek, and we saw that clip, we were just blown away by it. I was thinking, what on earth is this? And this is before Malcolm McLaren released his song Buffalo Girls. And yeah, man, it was just like unbelievable thing to see. Knowing that people could do moves like that. I was thinking, wow, this is it. I think I've found what I've been looking for a long time. And I still do my martial arts training as well. So yeah, it was practice at the youth club. Used to go to the Dovecot Youth Club, and the one down in Priory Green used to use their youth club as well. So we had, you know, 2 youth clubs that we were using to do our practicing. And then we formed a crew called the Sea Boys. And Michael Allen was Sea Boy 1 and Derek was Sea Boy 2. Hello, my beloved. And I was Sea Boy number 3. And we kind of got these caps, which we designed ourselves, were yellow and blue. And we had the Sea Boy logos on the cap. And we had the numbers. Michael was number 1, Derek was number 2, and had the number 3 on there. And that's all we had for the crew uniform, you know, was the caps. And then we formed our first ever breakdancing crew. And yeah, just carried on practicing and going around. Then we heard about Wolverhampton B-Boys. I had my cousin there, Bubbles, was the first ever female breaker in the UK. She really was. She was a pioneer of her time. And yeah, we used to go around doing the practice, and then we'd go around to the place where they had the discotheques. And we challenged some of the local breakers there. We'd beat them. And then some of them wanted to join our crew. You're right, love.
Yes, thank you.
And yeah, it just started to get bigger and bigger, the love for it, you know. And then our first ever big crew name was called Reckless. And then we started to travel around to other places, you know, around Wolverhampton, and challenge other local breakers again. And then they wanted to join our crew. And then the name of the crew changed again for the 3rd time, and it was called Rank Crazies. So we stuck with that. And then our crew was a force to be reckoned with. We had a brilliant crew. And then this head spin thing, I was just crazy. I was always doing head spins, good at doing windmills, doing the crab, hand spinning, and I could body pop good as well. And but I thought, there's so many breakers out there who've got certain power moves, so I thought, right, I'm going to get one move which I'm going to master. And how I found about this move, I used to watch helicopters when the rotor blades used to spin, and you used to see certain parts of the helicopter slower and then the blades would spin up fast. So I used to practice this move, and it was called the helicopter head spin, and other people give it a different name as years went by, called the stop and start. But I always call it the helicopter head spin. And then we used to go to Willenhall Hall Baths on a Monday night, where they used to have a regular jam down there, and they used to cover the swimming bath itself with a wooden floor over the top of the baths, and that floor was ideal for breaking. So that was on a Monday night, and then on a Tuesday nights we used to go to Walsall Town Hall. Now this floor was like ice. It was equivalent to the freedom movement of ice. So if you weren't good at breaking, that floor would absolutely get a hold of you, you know, and control you. But then I managed to control the floor and did my head spin the one time, and there was this crew going around from America called Platform One, they were called, three black chaps, bless them. And I did my head spin move, and I had these tank tops on with zips. I had about 4 on, and Derek was there with me. And he said, "Go on, Andrew, do your head spin, do your head spin." So I put my silk cloth down and my sponge that I had, and my little woolly hat that I had. So I went on to it, started doing my thing. And I got to a certain speed, and I took my hands off the floor, and I just carried on spinning. And I started to unzip the tank tops one at a time, and just flung them off, all 4 of them off, and I was just left with my t-shirt on, and I put my legs together, and I did what we call a corkscrew head spin. And then I'd stopped, I froze and jumped off my head onto my feet, and everybody had stopped what they were doing, and these 3 guys from America was just like, they said, "I've never seen anything like it. They've never seen nothing like it." And yeah, I was about 16 at the time as well. And that was just an experience to behold. That was, I wish we had YouTube back then. And yeah, it just went crazy, you know. About after that, the whole scene did. We used to go to the Wolverhampton all dayers. We'd travel up to Rock City, Birmingham. We used to travel to an all place over, you know, and it was just an amazing experience. So the breakers, if you see today over in the UK, we are actually the godfathers of it, because there's no one around doing the things we were doing back then. But yeah, I thought I'd share that with you anyway, a little bit about the history of it, you know. And yeah, the final crew I went up in was a crew called the Intercity Playboys, because Rag Crazies went their own ways after a certain time, so I joined up with these guys. And we used to travel to Covent Garden and enter competitions there, you know. And so yeah, that's a bit of a history about my breaking past. I thought I'd share that with you. And again, thank you so much for the support on our channel. Okay, so that's another one for Let's Talk About. Okay, please stay safe out there, everybody. Please stay safe out there.